Good morning. So I have with me Professor Dr. Subhajit Basu, Professor of Law and Technology from University of Leeds. I have some couple of questions for Professor Basu. The first question is, what is the life of a researcher? How would you advise any person to be a good researcher in any discipline, including law?
Thank you, Professor Halda, for inviting me. Thank you, Parul University, for inviting me. It's a very good question, which I often get asked about how to become a good researcher. In fact, I would start by saying, in order to become a good researcher, you have to be a good reader. You need to read, know your subject area well and thoroughly to understand what are the areas where you can make original contribution. Making original contribution is the most important thing in research because existing work needs to be improved and we need to make progress as we go on and as we grow as a researcher. So start with reading your subject area, find the areas where people have been writing, but there are gaps which you can identify and which you can sometimes answer or maybe sometimes raise a good question. When we talk about research, when we think about research, we always think that it has to be a solution to a problem. But the most important thing in a research is actually identifying the problem and getting that question right. So my first piece of advice with becoming a good researcher is read, identify a problem, find that good question which will help you to understand that problem better, and then maybe at some point find an answer.
Well, thank you so much, Professor. My second question goes for, as we are discussing about how to become a good researcher, our students, all over the world, they are now referring to many CHAT-GPT kind of apps, and they are claiming to be good researcher. What is your opinion? What is your advice regarding that?
Well, CHAT-GPT doesn't make you a researcher. CHAT-GPT, when you are doing research, CHAT-GPT at the best can be a search medium, a tool to help you to do the search. But using CHAT-GPT will actually make a student, in some way, it will hinder the student's progress because what you were trying to find by your own effort is going to be found by an artificial intelligence, a tool, and it will find the way you ask that artificial intelligence a question. So if you frame a question incorrectly, that AI will give you incorrect results. So it is not going to help you to go and find the actual result, which will be a progress. So you find one article, you read it, you find interesting references in that article, you go and read them again. With ChatGPT, what you will be doing, you will do what generally people does in Google search, type out few keywords and search terms, and ChatGPT will produce. ChatGPT will produce what ChatGPT knows. So ChatGPT will not make a good researcher. ChatGPT will make you a rather a lazy researcher.
Exactly. Coming to this point that, we are getting to see even many law students, they are trying to be researcher, especially when it goes for the professional research. But in certain cases, we are getting to see there are the volumes of verdicts, orders, etc. they have to read. And even that also makes them think that they need to be a good researcher. What is your advice for such students who need to go ahead for doing research and also practice research for their professional purpose?
Professional research for professional purposes, particularly in law profession, is different from the academic research which we do. In professional research, practice research, you are trying to identify a case which can help you to make an argument or stop an argument. You can use it in your defense. So the professional research, the cases we try to identify are tailored to that particular case or tailored to that particular dispute where a student, where a practitioner is involved in. Our academic research is much broader because we have to have a critical thinking in that research. We're trying to develop a critical argument, sometimes trying to think outside the box. But in a courtroom situation, the scope to think outside the box is limited, because either you're defending somebody, you have a reason to defend, you have to go and make sure that you are dealing with the exact issues which you have to deal with. In this whole process, you will have to look into a large number of cases, identify the cases which will help you in order to further your cause. So professional research needs to be a lot more focused, a lot more tailor-made to a particular need. On the other hand, academic research, particularly if you're doing a research for an article, it can be broad. You can read a lot of things to develop that argument, that thinking, which sometimes may come from an article which was probably not covering what you were writing. On the other hand, a professional research, it has to cover what the case you are dealing with. Otherwise, you will have to show a connection, which not often judges like in the court. So, practical research has to be strategic research, tailored to that purpose.
In Parul University, as you are getting to see that we have got different streams, we have got different faculties. And as such, there are a lot of scopes for interdisciplinary research. What is your opinion in this regard? How are you liking the entire, atmosphere in Parul University?
I love, in two words, I really love it, because a lot of my own research is interdisciplinary, because I work at the intersection of law and technology. Now, I'm not a technologist. Okay? I'm not a scientist. So that technology element has to come from outside, okay, from a scientist or someone who understands technology. I really like the way Scope is trying to bring everybody from different departments, from different schools, faculties, and disciplines together under one umbrella to give a platform to do interdisciplinary research. In Europe and United Kingdom, interdisciplinary research is now seen as the cutting edge of research, where science and scientists are coming together to work with people from social sciences, education, even art, liberal arts, to produce a research which is groundbreaking. For example, artificial intelligence, when we talk about regulation of intelligence, we will see that there are scientists, computer scientists who are developing the artificial intelligence, who are writing the codes, writing that algorithms. But when it comes to the ethical portion, when it comes to gender biasness, when it comes to regulation through legislation, when it comes to ensuring that it helps progress the economy, you have people from different disciplines. You have got lawyers, we have got social scientists, you have got people with background in philosophy, morality, ethics, people in background in social work. They're all coming together to find a way out so that this particular technology does not take over the human civilization, does not become a black spot on human civilization. So interdisciplinary research actually can find solutions to a lot of problems we have. If we do not understand the science, as lawyers, we will not be able to provide a particular mean, a perfect mean to regulate it. So I am all for interdisciplinary research. My current research on autonomous vehicles, which was funded by the European Union, is a group of, so I've got colleagues from computer science, I've got colleagues from transport studies, I've got colleagues from criminology, social science, psychology, neurosciences. Of course, I'm the lawyer in the team, coming together, trying to find out what would be the best way to use autonomous systems in Europe, in UK, and later on around the world. Thank you, Professor Alder, for inviting me to the Parul University. I'm looking forward to spending time at Parul University, and I want to know and understand more about what is happening in the university and how I can help Parul University. Thank you.